to wait because I'll share. All right.
Okay. Well, okay, good
Yes.
point. All right, Lord, we love you. Thank you. Thank you for this amazing group of people. Oh, Lord, bless our prayer time. May our faith be built and really to see, answers to prayer and miracles, because you are God of miracles. So we don't ever want to lose hope about the fact that you are the God of miracles. So, okay. Ari's on, Sarah. Let's take the update later, okay? That's great, because we're going to take an update from you. Ari Sacher, hello. We really
Hey, going? Long time no see.
It has been a bit. So
I've gotten older since last time we spoke.
you're a little bit more gray, look a bit more like Moses, actually. So it's all good. Hey, I loved your piece for the USIEA email. By the way, everybody, make sure you subscribe to USIEA's emails that go out. He has some phenomenal messages on there, but I was just reading this one on the airplane, just the war of attrition in the South and the segmentation solution. So anyways, give your update, but I wouldn't mind if you mentioned that to people, because honestly, this is the truth. We have been here as intercessors every day since the war saying, and one of the things I've been saying, God, please give us the key to how to pray regarding Gaza. Like, what is, why is it that it's so hard to take out Hamas and so hard to see, real breakthrough there? So anyways, so anything you have to say is great. And please update us on this hostage deal. Is it good? Is it bad? Or what's your thoughts on that? So over to you.
Thanks, Patricia. Let me start from the beginning about this segmentation idea.
Okay.
Gaza, the war there seems to have run into a swamp. It's very, very difficult to walk without getting your shoes all muddy. And what's happened is that we have well and truly taken care of Hamas's upper leadership, Hamas's military organization, and we've reduced Hamas to a band of guerrillas. Not Megillah guerrillas, but guerrilla fighters that really they meld into the environment. They hide in burnt out buildings and underground, and they come out and they fire. They fire their rifles. Some of them still have some remaining anti-tank weapons, rocket-propelled grenades, perhaps a missile or two that Israel hasn't managed to destroy. They also have some residual rockets left over, and every once in a while, some guy will get a bee under his bonnet and fire a rocket over into Israel. And in this slog, Israel, over the last 3 months, since October, has lost more than 85 soldiers. And it's very, very difficult because there seems like there's no end in sight. Israel goes into areas, they come out of areas, they perform a raid, they come out, and then Hamas, it's much easier to draft people when you really don't need any kind of training. They give you a rifle and say kill people, and there is no strategy for Hamas, and that's what makes it so difficult to destroy Hamas. And the question is, how can Israel truly defeat Hamas? And the prime minister was talking about an utter defeat. How do you do that? And one of the ideas that I have seen raised is really, really a fascinating idea, and it goes as follows. You divide Gaza into segments. You tessellate or undergo segmentation of Gaza, where all of these segments have well-defined geographical boundaries. You pick a segment and then you apply all of your force to that segment. Call that Beit Hanun, which is a place in northern Gaza we've been trying to take care of for forever. Put all of your power, everything you have on Beit Hanun. When you clean out Beit Hanun, then this area, if you sterilize this area, you get rid of all of the terrorists that are living in this area. Then you can say, "Yea, verily, this area is clear of terrorists. There is no residual tunnels. There are no residual arms caches," and then you can start bringing people back into that area. People that used to live there, civilians. And once civilians come back, you can say, okay, you guys have to administer yourself, and then we'll build up an administration. You have little puzzle pieces of Gaza that are self-administering. They're working together either with countries like Saudi or UAE or even Israel to build up this very, very basic capability. Once you have this capability, you can turn around and show the world and say, hey, there's a plan for the day after. So Hamas, from this little piece, has been uprooted, and this little piece over here is operating the way we saw Gaza operating years ago when Israel pulled out of Gaza. And then you pick another piece, you do the exact same thing, and you use some kind of strategy to determine what the segments look like. You use another kind of strategy in order to determine which segment you go from one to the next, start in the north and go south, start in the south and go north, pick various pieces. It will take a long time, but each time you go into one of these segments, you are overpowering Hamas. Hamas has no chance whatsoever. You clear out all of the civilians, and anything that's left in that segment is considered an enemy, is considered a terrorist. So you can use you can use a larger forms, or more powerful forms of arms, larger bombs. You don't have to be as careful. And this is what the idea is. Israel goes in, and it takes step by step by step. And we actually have something to show the world after each step we take. Look, you can defeat Hamas. And look, there is there is a Gaza on the day after, and this is being touted. I think it's critical that Israel show the world some kind of day after, and in this way, you stop this war of attrition. You reduce vastly the number of Israeli soldiers that are being killed. Yesterday, there were 5 soldiers killed. We don't know why. If they were killed, if a building blew up, the rumors are now that it was they were actually killed by their own weapons. They had a weapon cache in the building they were staying in. The weapon cache blew up. This has happened a few times in the past. We have to be able to stop that, and with this plan, we can stop it. So why don't we go ahead and implement it? Even if we had support for it, there is a blip on the radar screen which could change everything. Donald Trump has been stating numerous times that if the hostages are not released by the time he comes in, he's inaugurated on January 20th, then the Gazans will have hell to pay. Now, what is that hell to pay? It's really anyone's guess. Sanctions, targeted killing of Hamas leaders around the world, increased use of American arms and bombing. I don't know, but the Hamas really wants to prevent this from happening, and they are working together with Americans. And I do not know if it is Biden administration officials or if it is Trump administration officials in order to put together a deal. And even though this deal, it seems to be coming out, is suboptimal, but that is the understatement of the year. I cannot assume that Trump is not in some way involved, because Trump has always been enamored with the deal, and this is a deal. And when the deal on the horizon looks like the hostages will be released piecemeal. The first there will be there's 98 hostages that are remaining in Gaza. Some of them are dead, some of them are alive. It is horrifying to realize that a year and 3 months into the war, we have no idea how many people are living and how many people are dead. There will be 33 of those people released. The understanding is that the vast majority of those released will be alive, but you never can tell with those friendly guys from the Hamas. In turn, we will release a large number, and no one can put a number on that, of Hamas operatives that are in Israeli jails, some of them with blood on their hands, that have killed Israelis. And the worst part of it is that Israel, ostensibly, they're rumored to have agreed to leave Gaza. Parts of Gaza or all of Gaza, I don't know, because I hear from other sources that Israel will keep certain places, certain locations in Gaza. But if we pull out of Gaza now, then I'm afraid that the war will have been for naught. because unless Hamas is completely and entirely uprooted, unless we can prevent their rearming, unless we can prevent reorganization, then I'm afraid October the 7th will repeat itself. And for that reason, when I heard about the deal that was being forged, I was physically nauseated. Now, I read a daily, every 10 minutes, a Telegram feed called Abu Ali Express. And they took this Telegram feed, took a poll last night of about 40,000 Israelis who participated in. They asked you for, are you against, or you have no opinion. Other than the 10% who had no opinion, it was split nearly down the middle. Israelis for and Israelis against. An extremely difficult call to make, and I do not envy the prime minister. And
Wow.
that's really the situation in Israel right now. It's very tenuous. I'll talk to you guys the next time I talk to you. It could be as early as the end of the week, and the situation will be different. And we have to
Wow.
wait until this situation rectifies itself or becomes more clear before we can consider moving forward. Do I know if Egypt is supporting Hamas currently? We know that Egypt and Qatar are the two countries that are serving as go-betweens to
Mhm.
Hamas. I do not believe that Egypt supports Hamas, if only because Hamas is essentially an arm of what was called the Muslim Brotherhood, which is a radical a Sunni sect of Muslims of Islam. Egypt was ruled for a couple of short years by the Muslim Brotherhood, by a fellow named Morsi, Mohammed Morsi, who well, the current Al Sisi government has there was a coup and they got rid of him. So I do not believe that Egypt is supporting Hamas. They're serving as go-betweens. Qatar, who knows what their interests are? They're this big chameleon.
Wow.
Anyway,
Wow.
that's a story.
No, thank you for that. That really does help. I love the way that Israel is super honest. In other words, do you know what I mean? Like, as in, sometimes if you're making a deal with Hamas, of course, or with some of these other organizations, you cannot count on them, keeping their word. And yet Israel does keep its word. In other words, I don't know, sometimes I thought, can you just tell them that they will be able to go, but give us our hostages? In other words, I just feel it's complicated, and I bless the spirit of honor that Israel works with. And by the way, I have heard that it is Trump's team that are there. Trump's team are there really pushing for this deal before he gets in. So,
The
you did
case.
it. You did
Patricia,
another
if that's
piece.
the case, that really does not bode well for the future. If
Yeah,
if
I'm
Trump is
sorry.
interested in a deal or
Mhm.
any deal, as long as it's a deal, then Israel can stands to lose a lot. And Israel has a lot invested in Trump, a lot of hope for Trump, and this is the first
Yeah,
thing the Trump government is doing. It's an issue.
yeah. Well, we're certainly praying for him to follow through on what, what he's given by God to do. But I did hear there's an envoy of Trump that are there, that are part of these negotiations. But let me ask you this question. It's not as important as what we just discussed. However, I really appreciated your piece on the economy of Israel, and the fact that you were pointing out that construction is so much more expensive now because Israel, of course, and I understand why, does not use Palestinian workers, which, a bit of a cheaper labor force, let's say. And there's a lot coming in from other countries. Just a comment on this economic state of the country, because wow, you haven't had tourism for a long time. Just comment on that, please.
However bad the economy was before January 1st, the economy for Joe Israeli has gotten significantly worse. We have a value added tax to everything that we buy here, VAT, and that tax went up from 17 to 18%. The price of electricity has jumped. The price of property tax has jumped. The whole reason is we need to fund this war, which we had never planned. And the understanding is that this will cost each Israeli over the next year about 3,000 US dollars, and that's not a sum of money that you can simply throw away. The situation is becoming not dire, but before the war, Israelis would go to Europe twice a year, and that's not going to happen anymore. Israelis are going to be brought back down to earth. Housing prices have jumped, and they'll continue to jump because we cannot get that low-cost labor. And I don't know if anybody who wants Palestinian laborers. There's just no one. It's really a question of their own personal security. And hey, since October the 7th, they kind of lost our trust. Trisha, can't hear you.
Sorry, I muted myself because of background noise. Ari, this is super helpful. I want to thank you so much. I know your
Thank
time
you.
is precious. And so we're praying for your kids and your son-in-law by name every day. Okay, so thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll
All
speak to
right.
you guys later. All the best.
God,
Cheers.
God bless
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.